Daily Ascent. I'm Molly Carmel, and this is the podcast I always wish existed. A bite-sized, on-the-ground spiritual note that can shift your thinking and your outlook on life to help make us all a little bit more awake, alive, and ascending. So I want to talk about something that has been really, really weighing on me lately, and maybe and probably all of us. This question of whether what we're doing matters, whether our work is significant enough or we should be doing something bigger or more urgent in this world that really can feel like it's falling apart. And this humbling reminder I got about why that's not actually my question to answer. Sounds complicated, but let me tell you about it. So, doing a 5 day a week podcast is a haul, but it is a haul of love. I love doing this podcast. I got into such a rhythm with it. I think we're at episode 63 or 64 right now. And honestly, I was like rocking it, not to brag, finding my groove. And I loved showing up and the consistency and having this spiritual practice helping you get your own spiritual practice. Like, 10 out of 10, no notes. But then something happened to me with everything going on in the world right now. This voice just came in loud and cruel and insistent. And it was saying to me, like, why are you doing this when there are such important things going on in the world? Like, why are you telling these stupid little stories that don't even matter? And it was like a gut punch. And so, as we do, I just really started spiraling on that. Like it was offered to me and I started chewing. And I really started to question everything. And I really stopped my ritual of this podcast. Like I got really behind on the podcast because I started thinking like, maybe I should be giving something different. Maybe I should be doing something more directly in service, more tied to current events or, overtly political or urgent. And here's the thing, when I start moving that fast, because I'm very practiced at moving that fast, I have this little emergency brake inside of me that just says, Molly, take this to some people. Like get a second and third opinion, please. And so I took this to some people in my power circle, people I really, really trust, honestly, people that listen to the show, people who know me and know the kind of work that is meaningful to me. And one of them is my dear friend Stephanie, who's actually like in my board of directors of my power circle. And I trust her completely. And her message to me was so simple, but honestly so profound. She said, your silly little stories are islands of sweet peace during difficult times. And she said they really matter to her and that they give her something to hold on to when everything else feels really heavy and hard. And it kind of like smacked me back into reality, just landed in such a deep way because I realized, this is so embarrassing to say, but that's the pod. I was really making this about me. Like I was second guessing the form of my offering. I was thinking I should be giving something different. But if I get really spiritual, like this is rooted spirituality, this podcast that we are listening to right now, like this was given to me. Literally 3 years ago, this idea was dropped down into my head and into my heart. And then this summer, the exact right person came into my life to help me produce it, right? So literally handed to me from the universe. And I'm trying to offer a spiritual path through stories about my life and the lives of people that I love and care about. That's the form. That's the job. That's what I was given to give. And here's how I know that. When I'm, as I say on the show, when I'm awake, alive, and ascending, when I'm in my highest and best self, I get all the yeses and all the nos. I know exactly what to do next. And if I don't know what to do, I know I'm supposed to be waiting. So what I really know in my highest self, if there was more for me to give, or when there's more for me to give, it will be clear, right? And if this podcast isn't working, that will be clear too, right? And it's like in that way, Shut down my brain, focus on what I was given, chop wood, carry water, as I like to say. But that doubt that I was feeling, I know that that wasn't coming from my highest self because it comes in mean and it comes in fast. And those are two characteristics of my lowest self. Fear, insecurity, the need to control, trying to convince me that I like what I was given wasn't enough. And my job is not to listen to my lowest self, nor is yours. My job is to be intentional about showing up and offering what my highest self knows is mine to give. And then, most importantly, step way out of the way and let it land where it needs to land. So that brings me to our pocket sage today. Mark Nepo. Oh, what a dreamboat. And this is from his book, Book of Awakening, which we've used on the show before. It's a great one, y'all. He writes, the practice of a true calling is to bring what is within us into the world, not because we think it will change anything, but because we are compelled to give it. The gift is not in the outcome. The gift is in the offering itself. Let me get that to you in the back row. The practice of a true calling is to bring what is within us into the world, not because we think it will change anything, but because we are compelled to give it. The gift is not in the outcome. The gift is in the offering itself. And so today's word of the day is really one of my favorite words, and it's offering. Because an offering is not about worthiness. It's not about whether what you have to give is big enough or important enough or measurable enough. An offering is what you place at a, symbolic altar simply because it is yours to give, because it's what you have, because it's what is moving through you. And we don't get to decide if that matters, and we don't get to decide if it's good enough. We just don't get to stand at this altar and say, actually, never mind, this isn't good enough, right? We just get to offer what we are called to do with intention. And what happens after that, not up to you, not up to me. And here's the thing about offerings, and I know this from my work as a therapist and a coach and a healer, when they are given with intention and with authenticity, these offerings work in ways you will never, ever get to see in the most beautiful way. They extend like shadows into places that you'll never reach. They create ripples that you'll never even trace back to yourself. And so our job is not to understand the impact. Our job is not to measure the outcome. Our job is not to decide whether it's worthy. It's just to show up with intention and offer what's yours to give. So here's what I've come to understand in all of this. Intention matters. You need to be intentional about showing up and offering what you're called to give. We need to be clear about what we're giving and committed to giving it fully. And once we've done that, right? Once we've shown up with intention and offered what's ours to give, it's just not up to us anymore. We just get to, get out of the results business because our offering extends like a shadow into places that we'll never see. And we can't control that. We can't see it. We can't measure it. And honestly, we don't need to. We have to keep moving and get on to the business of helping someone else. And, I guess Stephanie appreciates the islands of sweet peace, and that matters. I couldn't have predicted that. I wouldn't have known that that's what she needed from me sometimes, right? But because I'm showing up or trying to show up with intention and offering what I was given to offer, the daily ascent is extending to her in exactly the way that she needs. And that's how offerings work. We give them with intention and then they cast shadows. So if you're sitting on doubt about what to offer, if you're questioning whether what you're being called to do is enough, I want you to ask yourself, is this coming from my highest self or my lowest self? It's a simple question because your highest self knows. And let me tell you something. If you're like, Molly, I don't even know what to do, throw up a prayer. There is no such thing as an unanswered prayer. Just say it out loud. Hey, I don't know what to do. Can you give me something to do? I feel really powerless. Let me know what to do. I promise you, you'll get an answer. You may not like it, but you'll get an answer because your highest self knows, right? Your highest self will tell you if there's more for you to give or what to give, and if something isn't working. But your lowest self will always tell you it's not enough. Your lowest self will always make you doubt and will always try to convince you that you need to be doing something different or bigger or more. And right now, we just don't have the luxury of listening to that, right? So if you hear it and you can't get rid of it, like I always can't, like go bring it to your power circle and then come back to your highest self. Show up with intention to what your highest self knows is yours to give, and then get out of the way, right? The world doesn't need us to be more important. It doesn't need us to have a bigger platform or a more urgent message or a more measurable impact. It needs us to be faithful to what we're being called to offer, even and especially when we can't see how it matters, even and especially when we're tempted to question it, and even and especially when we want to control the outcome. Hello. Because it's not up to us. And honestly, if you can take that, it's the most liberating truth that there is. So here's your reflective question for the day. What am I withholding because I've decided it's not important enough? And what would it look like to step out of my own way and just offer it? So anyway, thanks for sitting in on my therapy session today. And I'm right here with you, Ascenders. I am learning, and we are learning, that it is not up to us to decide what matters. It's only up to us to offer what's ours to give with intention and trust. We rise together. Until next time.